Welcome to the DoubleTree Hilton Hotel and the 45th, that's 45th annual ECA Installation and Awards Dinner. 45 years is something to be proud of. Guys, raise your hand if you're happy that we're not going to tap your wallet anymore tonight. Yeah, there we go. Some of us know, right, Kevin? For those of us that are here and not at the crab feed, if you're at the crab feed, you're bidding all night long. We're not doing that to you tonight. Thank you guys for coming. I get gout, so I don't like that shellfish anyway. All right. My name's John Bly. I'm your Executive Vice President of the ECA, and I've been here since April Fool's Day, 2010. I'm the practical joke that keeps on giving, you guys. But April, that's a long time, 13 years, my second career. I appreciate all you guys being here, and I'm honored to be your host tonight. Thank you guys for coming. Before I say a few words about the honorees, can I get your attention, please? That worked. I want to ask you all to join me in appreciation tonight of our premier sponsor of the night, Gelati Construction Company. I want to thank them for years and years of support for the ECA. I know their core values. I know that they love giving back to the community. They love giving back to every event that's in Sonoma County. You see their logo on everything. And your employees, as your patriarch should be very, very proud of what you guys give back to the community and all of your generosity. Thank you very much, Dick, and the whole team over there. Appreciate you guys very much. So, we're doing a bit of a promo video tonight, so I'm going to say a couple of things about the ECA. So those of you that have heard this before, I apologize. I'll try not to be repetitive, and I'll try to be brief. I can tell you that my experience with the ECA goes back 25 years now. I came onto the board some 25 years ago as a volunteer, and I went through the office ladder, as many of you are doing tonight. And I can tell you unequivocally that the ECA today is in as good or better shape than it's ever been in the 25 years experience that I've got. So congratulations to all of you members out there that keep supporting us. Congratulations to Cheryl and Mary who keep doing everything they can do for membership services. And I want to just say a couple of things about why I think we're in better shape. Great young leaders are coming into our board, coming into our ECA membership. We've got new turnover in our members. We're doing safety trainings. We continue to do advocacy for political campaigns in the local area. And we continue to do educational outreach like we just did yesterday, sponsored by Smith Dollar and Diana Key for the trucking prevailing wage updates for 2023. And let me just say, if you weren't there and we think we have a handle on the prevailing wage rules in 2023 for all trucking, probably need to reconsider that. There's a lot of stuff changing. 18 months just went past, and Diane went over all this yesterday. We'll be putting this out again in our newsletter. A lot of changes out there, guys, and we don't want anybody to get in trouble. It's a 4-year liability that you're out there for in certified payroll. So with that downer, let me make a couple of comments here. Why are we in better shape? Since I came in 2010, and I'm not taking credit for this because the economy sucked in 2010, our membership has nearly doubled in that 13 years. Part of that is the economy, and part of that is I think we're doing a good job on giving return on investment to our membership, which leads me to saying a couple of things about my own experience with return on investment. When I think back on my firm's joining the ECA, some late 90s, long time ago, what our return on investment hinged on was networking and connecting with other contractors, owners, engineers, and suppliers at our ECA events, our committees, our board meetings, and workshops. I was in the right place at the right time some 25 years ago, working on the board with Joe Morera, who at that time was with Gelati Construction Company. And because of that relationship and where I was and fostering the relationship, I got invited to bid on a project, private project up at Mayakama when they were developing Mayakama. Gelati was putting in all the infrastructure, the roads, the sewer, the water. They didn't want to do the sewer plant, and that's what we did. And so we bid on that. We got a massive change order out of the thing. And from that project, we made enough profit to pay for our dues at the ECA for the next 40 years. I'm not going to say that I guarantee that ECA members are going to see that kind of return on investment, but what we do is we put our memberships, our members in a position at these events that they can make that magic work for them. I don't know what's going to happen when you guys meet the people out in that foyer. That's up to you guys. But I think the secret sauce for the ECA, in a lot of ways, is that the networking at these events is invaluable. And you never know what might come out of those events, those new relationships with your peers. So that's the first point. I got 3 others, please. For us at Kirkwood Bly, connecting to the local community was a huge deal for us. I was busy building wastewater and water treatment plants up the corridors of Highway 99, Interstate 5, and Highway 101, and I had little or nothing to do with the general engineering contracting industry in Sonoma County. Had no connections whatsoever, other than one. Roger Hermsmeyer. He was on my Kirkwood Bly Board of Directors. Roger saw me wrestling with some of the issues as a young owner has to wrestle with, and he knew and suggested, strongly suggested, that I join the ECA and Kirkwood Bly join the ECA. He did that because he saw the few strengths that I have and the many weaknesses that I had, and he thought that I would always bring something to the ECA, but I'd get a hell of a lot more out of it in learning to run my company at a young age. So he thought I'd get something out of the board of director meetings. He was right. I was terrified of the microphone, couldn't stand up in front of 20 people back then. You know, necessity breeds success, I guess. I mean, you know, this is part of the job, so now I like it, but back then I hated it. Anyways, he knew that I would foster relationships personally and professionally by my connections within the ECA and within the local general engineering contracting industry, and he was right. I did, I have, and I've reaped the benefits of those. For me, Roger was correct. Joining the ECA was the right thing for me to do. I was a better professional and a better person for my ECA involvement. So thank you, Roger. Second to last issue, local influence in politics and policies. Do we have any politicians in here tonight? Wonderful. I've been waiting to tell this story. This is cool. I've never been able to tell this because we've always had somebody invited that's an elected official, and I didn't want to piss them off. All right, so bear with me. So a politician and a minister died and went up to heaven. And St. Peter met him at the pearly gates. He says, "Welcome to heaven, you guys." He says, "Let me show you to your room." So he takes them into the first room, and they go in there, and it's just this old cot with a thin blanket on it, and a crappy, rickety table, and a chair with 3 legs. And he says to the minister, he says, "This is going to be your room that you're staying at while you're in heaven." The guy shrugged and said, "Thank you." Politician's sitting there thinking, "Holy crap, this is a man of God. This is the crappy room that he gets. What's he got in store for me?" So St. Peter takes him to the next room, opens the door, and it's a mansion. I mean, there's hot and cold running servants, there's beautiful furniture, wonderful food, fine living at its finest. And St. Peter says to the politician, "This is where you're going to stay in heaven." Politician says, "I don't mean to be disrespectful, but St. Peter," he says, "why is a servant of God, man of the cloth, get such a crappy room and I get this wonderful room?" He says, "Well, you got to know how things work up here." He says, "We have thousands of clergy and ministers up here. You're the first politician to make it up here." Old joke. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. Boy, pitiful, pity laughter. I love it, though. Anyways, back to the ECA. Local influence in politics and policies. Frankly, I was amazed once I got into the ECA at how a collective voice of suppliers, engineers, contractors could affect and influence specification changes and local politics by speaking as one voice in a collective group rather than speaking as an individual company voice. ECA provided that, and the other thing that I learned from that was that local elected officials have their own set of problems. When I was working for Kirkwood Bly, I wasn't plugged in at all to local politics in any way, shape, or form, didn't care about them. But once I got involved in the GAC committee and a few other committees at the ECA, I found out that these guys have problems that I had no clue about. Once I understood them, it was far easier to come to agreement and collaboration with these local officials than if I just came in as a hot contractor wheeling a big stick. Thank you to the ECA for that. I liked political sausage making, and I'm still good at it. Lastly, and then I'll get off. I think it's our legacy that's our biggest return on investment. By honoring those that we're honoring tonight, we learned something about ourselves and our company, how high to set the goals and how high to set our expectations. I look at these award winners as a learning experience. If I was an owner today, I'd want myself and my young talent to know what made these honorees exceptional. I want to know what Gelati Construction thinks their greatest success is, and what are their traits that make project after project, year after year, they're successful. It's not just luck. How do they do it? Same with Rob Lee and Team Gelati. What did Rob do to make such an impression on his peers to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? It wasn't just luck. And also, I want to know from Rob Lee what he thinks we need to do to get the next generation of Rob Lees into the ECA and into Team Gelati and the other firms. If my firm was a member of the ECA today, I'd want them to hear the story of Raul Valdivia and Valdivia Trucking. Starting with one truck, he's now got a fleet of trucks. Luck? Did he screw people over or did he lift them up? I want to hear the story, and I want my young people to hear the story. And lastly, I want them to hear how Ed Winters went out on his own, one person, and started his first job with a bunch of sacks of concrete and built a riprap wall, and his hard work ethics took him to manage and own one of the greatest construction companies in the area. I want my young people to see that. I want their behavior to be influenced by these leaders. Being around winners begets winning. I'm convinced of that. So there's a theme tonight. Young people need to be encouraged and lifted up with preparation and training first, and then opportunity. The ECA awards that we bestow should make all of us realize what it made me realize. It's not me and it's not you out there that's our future. Our future is these young, talented people that either are just in your company now or haven't even been hired. We need to give them encouragement, opportunity, training, coaching, sometimes a kick in the ass, but ultimately give them the recognition for their achievements that these honorees are getting tonight as well. The secret sauce of this evening in the ECA, which most of you owners know about, in my opinion, is that strategy without execution is useless, and execution without strategy is aimless. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy your dinner. Enjoy the table chatter. I'll be back in about 30 minutes to start the show. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I'll go see if they think that was loud enough back there. Should have been, huh? Should have been loud enough, shouldn't it? What? Well, that's why I checked and asked everybody if it was loud enough back here. And you guys said, Mary and Tony said it was loud enough.
I do want to say that what we did here, there was not a bad thing that you said or anything like that. But we didn't hear anything you said.
Well, that's, I don't know what to do.
I've got a simple question.
Yeah.
Maybe not simple.
Yeah.
But I'm not a pain in the ass. Lon Power's wife's name, I can't remember it.
Georgianne.
Thank you. See?
Yeah. Yeah, all I can do is ask the guys in the back when I do the sound check, and if they say it's good,
We couldn't hear you.
I don't know. Well, somebody should say something.
No, we couldn't hear
The guy's right there. All I have to do is tell them crank it up.
Where's the guy?
Just past that third pillar. What a cool room. We were just sitting over here talking about who owned the pipe and fittings company up in Healdsburg that sold pipe fittings and valves. So any of you old birds remember Mike Brennan and Vintage Waterworks? That's what we were just chatting about back there. Anyways, cool room of old friends and associates tonight. I hate to interrupt your conversation, but Mary just had a birthday, and if we don't get her home at a certain time, she'll get very cranky, very cranky. So before we get into our past president and current president speeches, and before we get into our awards segment, I would like to say something about our sustaining business members. You can see their names up on the screen, and I just want to thank them for their generous support of the ECA. They smooth out the highs and lows of all these events and so forth. They pre-purchase tickets and sponsor our events, and thank you guys very, very much. Moving on to our sustaining corporate members, this is the suck-up portion of the evening, guys, so bear with me. They're all well known to you folks out there. Sustaining is the key word here. They sustain the organization that was founded some 47 years ago. We were incorporated in 1976 by Mario Gelati, Henry Babe Gelati, greatest name in construction, I think, Steve Tyler, Art Siri, and Al Delecchio. We just lost Steve Tyler. That was what prompted the conversation about Mike Brennan this past year. Steve Tyler passed away. I think he had moved to Florida So we lost another good one. Sorry to hear that. But these sustaining members get what our founding fathers created, and they continue to support the organization that strives to maintain those founding father principles. So thank you to the corporate sustaining members. As most of you are aware, our events generate around 2/3 of our annual budget. Our dues only cover about 1/3. So we try to keep the prices down so that we're cost neutral, and we generate the rest of our overhead through our sponsors. So it's very important that we get these sponsorships, and it's really what keeps us operating. And so I want to thank the 7 big sponsors tonight of tonight's event. You can see them on the screen above. And once again, special shout out to Gelati Construction, not only premier sponsor, but also another big sponsor, one of the big 7. Thank you, guys. At this
Wait. Okay, now I'm good.
Let's hear it for the 7 big sponsors. Whoa! We've had some really good presidents in our history, as you can see on the screen. Looking for my name up there. Yeah. Okay, I'm on the next page. Some really good presidents. But really and truly, none better than my buddy Walt back there, who was our 2022 president. No disrespect to any of the other past presidents. Walt, you can either be a participating president or a president by title. Walt was a participating president. We talked every week. He was in tune with every decision that I was making and that the ECA was making and had a hand in it. And he led us to a great recovery year post-pandemic. So join me in welcoming 2022 President of the ECA, Walt Turner, to the stage to say a few words.
Thanks, John. Wow, it's louder up here than back there.
Very loud.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much for everybody who's come here tonight. It's beautiful that everybody cleans up so nicely for an evening out with your wives. It is a huge honor standing up here where so many distinguished presidents have stood before me. And some of you are here tonight. Tonight we have 4 outgoing board members, and I would like to thank them for their support. Starting with Dave Weller, RCX, past president. David, come on up, sir.
He's got long legs. Oh,
Thank you, sir. He's been through everything with us. He's been here for years, and he was always available if needed. So thank you.
Cheers. Proud to be a part of the ECA. Thank you.
Secondly, Tom Boylan of the Boylan Point Agency. And he's not here, so we'll accept it for him. Daniel Powers of Don Ramazzi Insurance Agency. He's not here either, but I'll accept it for him as well. And lastly but not least, Josh Cleaver with Bodine Company, past president. Please come up. you.
All right.
I would also like to thank my executive team. Just met Josh Cleve, our past president, Bodie and Company, Antonia Meccarini, this year's president, Gelati Construction, Mike Gully, this year's vice president, Northwest General Engineering, and Dan Giordani, this year's treasurer, Argonaut Constructors. "2022, I just wanted to say a few words about the year just concluded. I was honored to have been able to serve the membership, lead this great organization, and do my best to follow the lead of those who have gone and served before me. One of the best things about being president is the opportunity to listen and exchange ideas with great leaders in their field, and that's all of you out here. I also want to thank our 2022 Board of Directors. They showed up, participated, offered suggestions and ideas based on their vast experiences and knowledge of the area and industry. And they're coming in, they're younger, they're energetic, and they want to do a good job. So I want to thank you all this year. Thank you so much. A few things that we all should be proud of here at ECA. Community relation projects. Giving back to our community like the Affordable Housing Jamie Lane Project in Katati. The ribbon cutting ceremony was inspiring and satisfying to see the people we help. We are making a difference and giving back to our community. So thank you for that. This is one that we do a lot of work with, but doesn't get a lot of accolades. And I wanted to add Government Affairs Committee, and we have a gentleman named Art Dykey. He is very good at what he does, and he does what everybody else really doesn't want to do, sitting through all those meetings and vetting people for us to vote on. And so I just want to say thank you to Art Dykey, and that helps us make the right decisions for our membership in the political arena. This next one is near and dear to my heart, and I think most of you already know that. It's the Father's Day Show and Shine Car Show. Yeah. This is one that I started going to before I was on the board with my father-in-law before he passed away. And it's just a great arena to go set up your car. Everybody that smiles shows up. Your family comes throughout the day. You don't have to worry about anything. It's a safe and beautiful environment out there at Juilliard Park. I wrote a few notes. In the middle of the economic uncertainty, post-pandemic issues, people participated, brought their families to Juilliard Park in Santa Rosa, and enjoyed a day of appreciation for all our fathers and the classic cars that take so much effort to restore. The smiles on everyone's faces speak for themselves, and people love this event. So thank you for all the volunteers that we get out every year, because you're not doing it for anything other than the enjoyment and watching those guys come in and out, and those ladies with those beautiful cars, and they do leave with a smile on their face, so I think we're doing something right. I can't say enough to everyone involved at ECA to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your time given to support this wonderful ECA. It truly takes everybody to do this. I like the energy. I noticed this first board meeting for Antonio had 23 out of 25 people at a meeting. We don't talk about those numbers very often, and I think it needs to be shared because that's important for you as members to know that they're vested, they're there, and they're partaking, and it looks good for the future. So I just want to thank everybody that comes to those meetings because it wouldn't happen without you. And finally, I would like to thank John Bly, Mary Kennedy Cabrera, and Cheryl Long for all their hard work during the year. They're behind the scenes. We give Mary a bad time on and off, but there is a lot that goes into these things. There's things behind the scenes that everybody in this room that has a business knows what happens. And it usually comes off smoothly. So I want to give all three of them a round of applause.
Well, I know you're going to be introducing Antonio, so I didn't want to get in the middle of that. But on behalf of the ECA and its membership, I hope you will enjoy this gavel and plaque as a remembrance of your quick year as ECA president. Great job, buddy. Thank you.
Now, with no further delay, I would like to introduce your current 2023 President of Northern California Engineering Contractors Association, Antonio McNariti.
Man, this is nerve-wracking. Anyway, good evening. So, thank you, Walt, for being the past president last year. Walt's presidency actually brought us out of COVID. So he actually took us from the Zoom meetings and went into these live events. So it's a special thing, right? I wish we were on Zoom right now. Right? So who are we? So we're an association of engineering contractors, premier engineering contractors in Northern California, truckers, material suppliers, service and rental providers, and engineering professionals. We're here to improve our community that we live in, support our community philanthropically when we can, stand up for our fellow members, provide education and assistance to our membership and to local municipalities. I want to introduce our 2023 officers, which would include Walt Turner, who is the past president. New to the exec board will be the secretary, which is Kimber Carpenter Lenning. Treasurer Dan Giordani with Argonaut. And Vice President Mike Gully with Northwest. I also like to introduce the board members. Specifically, I want to highlight the new faces of the board, which would include Mike Wolf with Wolf Contracting, Christy Pruitt of RCX, Art Dykey of Environmental Pollution Solutions, Kevin Noonan of Toby's Trucking, Spencer Reed, Northgate Ready Mix, and James Trappy of Canyon Ready Mix. Thank you, John and Mary, for everything you guys do in front and behind the scenes. Without you guys, we'd have a hard time keeping this thing together. We've been together for 47 years, so it's awesome. I need to thank the people at the gelati table for entrusting me and allowing me the time to spend on the ECA. Each person sitting at those tables supports the ECA in one way or another, whether it's approving donations and sponsorships, Also with, gotta have this thing down, right? Serving on the board, or being the past president, or going to the ECA events like the car show, the auction, or the golf tournament. So they all really understand the importance of the ECA, and I'm very happy that all of them decided to come here tonight to support. How did I get here? I'm still wondering. 5 years ago, I started with Gelati, and one of my first projects was the Miracle League, which is the baseball field down in Petaluma. Chase was saying that the reason why I got that project is because of the donation project, and it's hard to fuck up a donation project. Appreciate you, Chase. Truthfully, working on that project, I was able to work with a bunch of companies that in the real world are competitors. But we were able to work through that project and really make something special for the disabled kids in the North Bay. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it was just an awesome project. Specifically, I want to highlight a few of the contractors. There was many people that were involved in it, but I want to highlight a few. Team Gelati, Argonaut, Pimentel Paving, Devin Chenzi, Able Fence, donated materials from Bodine, Stony Point, and we had concrete on tap from Northgate. It was insane. We got concrete all the time. So that project, for me firsthand, I was able to really understand what the ECA is all about. The donation, the making our community better. I never heard if I needed something or I needed one of the other contractors to be there, it was never no. When do you need us? We'll be there. And that was just an awesome thing and really got me bought into what the ECA is all about. So I'm looking forward to 2023. I have great expectations. I'm looking to increase the membership intelligently, getting these local Northern California companies that should be a part of the ECA, a part of the ECA. So we're actively out there saying, why are you not a part of this? Because we are truly changing the narrative of what the ECA, or what contractors used to be, the money grabbers, but we're actually now looking at working with the municipalities, trying to make things better. So anyway, that's it. John, thank you.
I think he did such a good job, you should run the rest of the show. Come on, Tony, get up here. Seriously, though, thank you, Antonio. We worked together for, 6 weeks now as president. This guy is as hands-on as they come. We get along great. We see the same things out there. It's going to be a pleasure working with you this year, Tony. And thank you to Gelati for loaning them to us this year. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. My last item of business before we get into the honorees is to say something from the heart about the other employee of this fine organization. And I said it when I came aboard. I said it about 5 years ago. I said it last year, and I mean it. I don't want to do this job if Mary's not there at my side doing the heavy lifting with all of you guys. We have a ton of fun. We rip on each other a lot, but she really cares about the membership. She cares about these events. She sweats the details. And I'm more like, just show up and it'll all happen, no problem. But Mary does a great job. We're lucky to have her, but she can't do it by herself. She needs volunteers to help put on these 5 events a year. And this is Mary's time to shine and explain to you what the volunteers mean to her and to honor one from 2022. So please join me in welcoming Mary Kennedy Cabrera to the stage.
Okay, I hope nobody heard me say that. It's that we call each other bad names all the time. But the one thing I can say is, John, not nice, Mary, nice. Right? Okay, you got me a little... These have been their past volunteers. Some of them are still around helping out and volunteering. One of the really good guys is no longer with us, Henry. He was a great volunteer and a great guy. And tonight, though, I want to honor Janine Clary from Argonaut. Okay, I wrote a speech, but I'm going to just kind of go this. Yeah, so I have a few things. So we do the car show. Walt told you about it. We get up really early. It's a lot of work. We have 400 cars. We got to get all this stuff ready. Their little placards and their voting tickets and all these things. And Janine comes a couple days before usually, gets the box, because she goes Sunday morning, Father's Day. She gets there 5:30, yeah, before anyone, except for the car show guys, because they're there about 4 a.m. waiting in line to get into the car show. And if you haven't been to the car show, you really should go, because it's incredible. All these beautiful cars, and it's so much fun. But Janine, she gets up early, helps out, and I was, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. It's not.
I'm right there.
Oh, no, it's not working. Wait a minute. Did I turn it off?
Come on, Mary.
Oh. Okay, wait. I knew he could do it. So she gets up so early. I have no pictures of her working when at 5:30 in the morning because it's too dark. But I really do appreciate all your help and everything you do for ECA, because it's not just, the car show. You've helped out at public officials and other events, and that's how this, the events get run, is by my volunteers, and I appreciate everyone. Karina here and her son, and Stephen with Ed Clark and Associates. So thank you all, and would you please come up, Janine? I don't know who you are, but I'll find out. Thank you. All right, now back to John.
I didn't know you wanted me to say anything. Well, I wasn't aware I was supposed to say anything, but I do want to give Mary kudos for everything that she does. She does a wonderful job. I think all the volunteers, having the opportunity to volunteer at the events gives me an opportunity to see everybody here, see people that I haven't seen in a long time, to get to know them and have a good time while you're volunteering. I mean, I have met wonderful people, and I enjoy working with them. So anyway, I want to thank Mary and John and the board, whoever nominated me. It means a lot. So thank you very much.
I like those impromptu speeches where they don't know they got to say anything. I love that. So I want to thank everybody for coming in here. You've got all kinds of options that you could go to. You chose to come, and it's very respectful for the honorees tonight that we got a full room here. So thank all of you for buying tickets and coming on a rainy night. It's much appreciated, and it honors all of those that are getting their awards tonight. So thank you guys. We have some remaining sponsors that I'd like to point out on the screen. Smith Dollar, Sound Ideas, and the rest of the sponsors will be up here in just a minute. We appreciate all of you guys. We need you guys to sponsor, and you guys do, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. One quick note. One of the things that I was talking about was bringing new young members into this organization and so forth. We were so excited to hear from Dustin at the bulk exchange. They wanted to be members. They wanted to be members so bad so that they could sponsor this event tonight. So I urge you guys to go to our website, look at who our members are, and if you've got a choice, do business with them. So thank you to all the new members that we're getting. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to the bulk exchange. Congratulations, you guys. All right. We're on to the awards. Up on the screen, you see the past ECA Affiliate of the Year award winners. Quite a group that has supplied to the contractors virtually everything they've needed for the last few decades to be successful. Takes relationships, good pricing, and you've got to be there when they need you. So tonight, we're adding a very special name and a very special trucking firm, Raul Valdivia and Valdivia Trucking. Well deserved. I'm just hoping there's no magic bus tonight, Raul and Mary. Where are you guys? No magic bus tonight. It's just we're just having fun here tonight. Good Lord, they hijacked me after the auction. It took me about 4 days to recover. Anyways, please enjoy the short video honoring our 2022 ECA Affiliate of the Year.
I do get questioned a lot, like, wow, how did Raul end up with 30 trucks or a fleet this size, you know? Raul comes from a really large family, very poor family, humble, and he came to this country young. He was only 9, very little schooling. But the business side of him, it's always been in him, ever since he was little.
I started with one truck, probably had that truck for 4 years or so, and then definitely decided to start buying more and expanding my business, which was a little crazy, but you know, every day, instead of working 60 hours or 40 hours where a lot of people work, I was working, 80, 100 hours a week. I then started buying more trucks. When I had about 6 trucks, I decided that it was a little bit more than what I could handle. My wife started helping me in paperwork and all that.
Working for him at the beginning was tough because, you're dealing with your husband and with different ideas. We got past that within the year, I would say, and then just kind of, you do your thing, I do my thing. And he's hardly ever in the office anyway. He's usually out in the field.
I met Raul when he first started getting going into the construction business. He started off one truck, I started off with one truck, and we basically ran all over Northern California looking for things to do. And it was very busy at that time, so we were running nonstop. It was a lot of hard hours, a lot of hard work, and a lot of sleepless nights. He always had your back, he always gave a shirt off your back, and if you ever needed something, no hesitation. Like, he would always offer whatever he could do to help you along to get where you need to be. And that's even true up till this day too.
He wanted a better life. He wanted to give his family a better life, and he really had the ambition in him and the hunger.
Being the affiliate of the year, it means a lot to me. Having a great team that I have right now, I'm really proud of it. Sometimes when I go to my yard and coming from one truck and starting with one truck and seeing all the trucks out there, it makes it you know, it makes it fun. It makes it fun. It makes, you know, I'm pretty proud.
Please join me in welcoming Raul to the stage to accept his award. Speech. You love to talk, don't you?
Well, I'd like to say thanks to all of you guys for believing in me. Thanks to my family and my team over there. I really appreciate this. If it wasn't for you guys and all the contractors here, I wouldn't probably be here. So thanks. You know, it means a lot. Thanks, guys.
We are the Engineering Contractors Association, no disrespect to our affiliates, but this next award honors a great contracting firm and its last year of great projects and accomplishments. We're very pleased to present this short video honoring our 2022 ECA Contractor of the Year award winner, Gelati Construction Company. Please enjoy the Sound Ideas video with me.
The Contractor of the Year award means a lot to the company. You know, the last time we have gotten this award was 12 years ago.
It's our 30th year in business in Santa Rosa. I'm just very proud of our achievements in North Bay. I mean, it's a tremendous achievement for not only me but our company to earn this in the association we're in. You know, I'm an executive officer now, and I'm not too involved in the operations, but I'm so proud of the safety record we have, the accidents are way down, our equipment is clean, our jobs are profitable, and our safety is fantastic, and it's all because of Brian and Ali and Brad and some of our superintendents are fantastic.
One of the things that Gelati has done, which I'm mostly proud of, is bringing on board many young ladies and gentlemen aboard, and they're basically international. They're coming from local colleges and universities. They were born in different countries, such as myself, and they are anxious to grow and learn and do more. They're really our backbone right now. I mean, I think that's the reason they're successful.
It's always nice to show appreciation to your people, and by getting this type of award from your peers, it means a lot. It means a lot to people.
My mother was born in Petaluma. It's one of my favorite places to drive. I drive it every day, and I enjoy the drive. It's just a great place to come to work, and I enjoy the drive home. So, especially on a July highway.
I didn't even ask, but I'm assuming Dick's going to come up and accept the award. Fresh off of accepting his award for the Contractor of the Year down in Los Angeles on January 13th by the Beavers. Dick and Brian are coming up. Congratulations, guys. Yeah. Probably nicer than anything the Beavers gave you, huh?
No, the Beavers.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to say much. What do you got these videos up for? I was told I didn't have to make much of a speech tonight, and I'm not going to make much of a speech. I'm so proud of this award, and I remember when I grew up in Marin County, and my father, he was a very future-looking person. They said, we got to go to Santa Rosa and open an office. And I'm so glad we did. And it was the best thing we ever did. And we still have offices in Marin County and Livermore and South San Francisco. And anyway, this is a heartwarming award for our company. And I'm not the president of the company anymore, I'm just the CEO, and Brian's right here, and I wanted you to come up and, no, you gotta come up and speak, too.
Get out of the way.
Again, everybody's thanking ECA, Executive Committee, Board of Directors, you guys keep it going, it's awesome. It's great to get this award. It's a great recognition. I mean, it's great that we pass around to the teams. This award's great for our people. I mean, it's the people, right? We all know that. Yep. It's the people that make it happen. So thank you, and let's do it again.
So while I was a little bit late, I was out there talking to Steve Bouchard, who's going to be reading the military bio as a special treat later. And he goes, oh, I grew up right down the street from Dick Gelati. So I'm going, small world, right? Anyways. The plaque on the award for the Hermsmeyer Hall of Fame reads, in recognition for extraordinary and extended contributions you made to the Northern California engineering contractors industry, not to the ECA, to the industry. These words were crafted by me and Roger Hermsmeyer many years ago, and it's with great respect and sadness that I remind us all that Roger passed away a few months ago in his home up in the Gray Eagle area. So if you would kindly join me in just a moment of silence in remembering the godfather of the ECA, my personal friend of many, many years, Roger Hermsmeyer. Thank you. You can see the past inductees of the Hermsmeyer Hall of Fame. It's quite a group, and one that I'm extremely proud to be a member of. They must have really been scraping the barrel that year, but I'll take it. I love it. I love the choice of Josh Cleaver and the nominating committee for the 2022 Hermsmeyer Hall of Fame award winner, the old hoe skinner, Robert Lee. I remember somebody mentioned the Miracle League, and I really appreciate that. I remember when we had to meet at the Miracle League office, Dale Mahoney was there, Robert Lee was there, there's many of us there. Argonaut was there with Junior, Kevin was there, and we were there with a come to Jesus message for the fundraisers for this great project, the Miracle League. They fell short, and we weren't going to be able to move forward with the project because they were short by some considerable amount of dollars. And so I can embarrass the three contractors tonight, it was around $750,000 they were short. At that meeting, I think it was Gelati Construction suggested that they try an alternative way of looking at getting this project done and splitting it up into 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, because the underground utilities were about the same as the concrete and paving and so forth and so on. And so the three contractors in the room said, that sounds good to us, and I'm still waiting on pins and needles because we're about to hear that the project's not going to move forward, when I think it was Kevin and Robert said, we don't intend to charge for our portion of it, which led Junior to jump in there and say, we're not charging for it either. And Gelati quickly followed suit, and in about 3 minutes, we raised $750,000 and built a great project down in Lucchese Park in Petaluma. With that outlining the spirit of Rob Lee, please enjoy the short video honoring our 2022 inductee.
I'm a third-generation operating engineer. Grandfather moved from Oklahoma. At 41, he was a farmer and construction worker. He retired as a construction superintendent. My dad was an operator, foreman, a superintendent, retired as a superintendent. I would say my career is kind of the intersection of my work ethic and opportunities. I've had a lot of good opportunities. At Majora, Babe Gelati, Elmo Majora, both good, solid construction men, honest, hard-working guys, so I learned a lot from them. At Argonaut, I had the real great pleasure of working with Clyde P. Smith, who was one of the owners of the Smith and Winters Group. And he was a real Hall of Famer, true. Couldn't do 45 years in this business without my beautiful bride, Debbie, of 38 years, my son, Jake, and my daughter, Maggie, because you have to have that support for this business, the amount of hours and days you put into it.
I was having some time with Glenn Gelati, and Glenn shared with me how he was able to acquire Rob. Glenn knew how important it was for his company's success that he have somebody like Rob, a great leader in this industry, that so much is about having trust in who you're working with. And maybe it's who your subcontractors are, or who your material suppliers are. And I think with what I've seen with in working with Rob is he trusted us and we trusted him. And that relationship creates success.
He's also been instrumental in continuing, Glenn's legacy of, helping us with charity work as far as from Miracle League and Polyclass and just various other, community relations that we've done throughout the years. He's a second vice president of the corporation and still involved and just looks out, and I'm very grateful to have that knowledge and that mentorship around for us.
I'd like to ask everybody, at this dinner that's watching, to think about the opportunities. Who in your organization, your general contractors, the vendors, the suppliers, who in your organization is the next person to get that opportunity? Ask yourself, have you done everything you can do to prepare yourself for that opportunity? Because our industry right now, the main problem we have is recruitment. is getting people. The work's there. The work will continue to be there. But we need people to step up and do the work. So we all need to ask ourselves where that next person is and how can we bring them up.
I really enjoyed Rob's comments on youth, spot on. Please join me in welcoming to the stage our 2022 ECA Hermsmeyer Hall of Fame inductee, Rob Lee.
Good evening, everybody. I'm grateful and honored for the award, especially that it's got Roger Hermsmeyer's name on it. He was a bigger-than-life character in our industry. I'd like to congratulate the other award winners, Gelati Construction. You know, from your 30 years, you built a fantastic corporation. I mean, you do great work. I remember being at some dinners like this quite a few years ago, and Jimmy Gelati being up there with his 3 lanes all the way sticker. And sure enough, you're finishing those 3 lanes so you can drive home on that 3 lanes all the way. I'd like to congratulate the Winters family. Ed Winters was a fine construction guy and very deserving. And all my peeps at Team Gelati. Thank Glenn and Kevin, started a good company in Petaluma. It's a fine place. I thoroughly enjoyed my last 11 years of my career working there. Everybody there is a top-notch person. I want to thank my family, my beautiful wife Debbie, 38 years, my son Jake and Brittany, and all my family. So thank you much.
Here she comes. Come on, Mary.
It's a good Mary.
Yeah, good, Mary, that's right. Thank you, I got it.
I love this evening. So many good people in this room. In 2012, the Hermsmeyer Hall of Fame Award was expanded to include posthumous inductees. I discussed the concept with Roger Hermsmeyer and Betsy because before 2012, it was a once-in-a-while inductee that we did, and it was based on tremendous contribution to the ECA itself. So I asked them to recognize the contributions to the industry and do one posthumous and one living inductee every year. One of the smarter moves I ever did, and I think it's worked out quite well for the ECA and the inductees. And Roger and Betsy, to their everlasting credit, they agreed to it. So the past list of posthumous inductees is short because we started in 2012, but illustrious. Tonight's honoree is Ed Winters. He and my father had very similar pathways to Santa Rosa. We were talking back at that back table because Doug Allard actually worked for Hal Pellet's Construction, or Precast, which was the precursor to Santa Rosa Cast, if I remember correctly. But my dad, Jim Kirkwood, Marv Soyland, and Ed Winters all started at Hal Pellet's Construction on College Avenue, where Santa Rosa Cast was years later. So There is a connection there. I treasure that, and I'm very, very happy that we can sit back and watch the wonderful Sound Ideas video honoring Ed Winters as our 2022 ECA Hall of Fame posthumous inductee.
Yeah, my father was part of the post-war generation that, let's say, built Sonoma County. Him and my mom lived in Sausalito, and he'd take the bus across the Golden Gate and go to work every day in the city. But one day he saw an ad in the paper from Hal Pellets from this little town called Santa Rosa somewhere. Now, Pellets was a contractor and I think he ran a concrete cast company. So my dad just dropped everything, moved up there and went to work. I'm sure his mother and his friends thought he was daft. I mean, what a bizarre thing to come from humble beginnings, finally find a suit and tie job in the top dog corporations in America, and just toss that and move off to some other strange little village and go into construction.
He was great. My dad was great. He was a wonderful father and husband, and great with us kids. He was fair about everything, but you had to toe the line, so to speak, as we were growing up.
Well, he went to work with Mr. Pellets a year or two there, and he just wanted more independence and wanted to run things more in tune with his goals. So he opened a little construction business in the garage of our house on Marsh Road. Pretty soon he collected a group of partners, Clyde Smith, Clay Davis, Jim Russey. They all kind of collected and made Argonaut into what it really became over the years.
Hal sent me over to see Ed over at Argonaut Construction to learn about blueprint reading and takeoffs. When I met Ed, all I knew about him is he was Hal's best friend. They played golf every Saturday at Santa Rosa Country Club, and don't piss him off. He was one of the very few people that ever checked my takeoffs and critiqued them, so I learned a tremendous amount from him. It was a nerve-wracking thing to go through, but it was well worth it.
Business-wise and at home, there was no gray area in the way that with him. It was he told you what he expected, and that's the way it was. Work ethic was very important to him. You get paid for your 8 hours, you put in your 8 hours, and you show up when you're supposed to show up, and you work until the bell rings or you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish.
I was very fortunate to have even been at Argonaut when Ed worked there and to work with him and for him. I knew he was going to be a tough nut to crack and that he was this stern character. But for some idiotic reason, I had to send a call to his office, and I thought, well, I'm going to try this. So instead of saying, excuse me, Ed, or excuse me, Mr. Winters, I said, Eddie, and I didn't hear anything but silence. I don't think anybody ever called him Eddie, and he probably thought I was nuttier than a fruitcake. But he just chuckled a little, I could hear him, and that kind of broke the ice for us.
I remember he told me of a very first project where it was, Argonaut consisted of him, and he was out there in the rain stacking sandbags or something to build a riprap wall. So just tells you how tiny he started. Clyde and Clay and Jim, I don't know, that was just a sterling bunch of guys, and my dad was either lucky or smart to associate with them. They were down to earth, they were honest, hardworking. He
was probably very proud of Argonaut's participation in the Sea Ranch up the coast with Oceanic Pacific. Oakmont worked closely with Brelgen Race engineering firm at that time. And then Bodega Harbor, we had a big part in Bodega Harbor.
In his retirement years, and he retired fairly early, like age 62, 63, and he was still capable and agile, and he took off on archaeology trips. He ended up in South America and up in the Arctic area and places, and I really admire him for making the most of his post-Argonaut period as well. He was intellectually curious. He was curious about people. He once told me that your brain is the only thing that will never fill up.
I hope you guys picked up the license plate, low bid 1. Before I bring up Ed's son, Mark Winters, we've got a special treat tonight that honors all of our veterans who sacrificed so much for us to live this free and wonderful life that we live here in the United States. And we're also going to specifically honor Mr. Ed Winters. So to kick it off, we've got Steve Bouchard, who is a Marine, and he's going to read the military bio for Mr. Ed Winters.
Good evening. It's funny how it all interconnects. When I was 12 years of age, the Gelatis used to chase me off their equipment on Paradise Drive. So I go back, I don't know if it was you, Dick, if you were old enough, or it was your dad, but I still could outrun you. Anyway, I know you're a little surprised to see a Marine honoring a Navy man. There's the inter-service rivalry going on, but we do love each other. And we thank them for the transportation and all the support they give us. They give us our medical aid, they give us our religious aid, and they have our CBs that build stuff for us, plus transporting us. So we love our Navy guys, even though we tease them, and they tell us, you're part of the Navy. And we go, yeah, we're the men's department. So anyway, enough of that. Ed Winters. He joined the Navy in 1941, January 1941. And he was on the USS Chester when Pearl Harbor happened. The USS Chester was a light cruiser. And for those of you, they don't do them anymore, but they were boats that ran around, and one of their primary objectives was anti-submarine warfare. They had float planes attached on the back, and they would take them with hoists and put them in the water. They'd take off, they'd look around for submarines and do whatever they did to kill submarines, and then they'd come back and land, and then he'd pick them back up, put them on the back of the boat. And that's what Ed's boat did. Fortunately for Ed, they were outside the harbor doing patrol when Pearl Harbor hit. So they were involved in some of the first anti-submarine activity the day of Pearl Harbor. The Chessie had 11 battle medals, stars. They got a star for each battle they were involved in. So his ship was involved in 11 different battles during World War II. He was only on them for about 7 of them because he went off for education later on. So Ed was in the sea near Hawaii when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th. As word spread throughout the task force, he realized the long-awaited war was on. He had enlisted in the Navy as soon as he had turned 18 in January 1941. He shipped aboard the USS Chester, which was a 10,000-ton cruiser. As the fleet regrouped after the shock of Pearl Harbor, the Chester joined a force that carried out the first U.S. offensive action of the war with a raid on the Japanese-held islands in the Central Pacific. They were at Guadalcanal and a few other infamous islands. Attacks by enemy bombers resulted in a single bomb hit and a storm, a near miss. During that bomb hit, I believe they lost 8 sailors were killed and about 22 were wounded. Ed was fortunate enough to be in a different part of the ship at the time. Mr. Winters was serving aboard the Chester near Guadalcanal when she was struck by a torpedo fired by an enemy submarine. Months of repairs followed while the Chester returned to Central Pacific for the invasion of Tarawa. Mr. Winters then had the chance for an officer's commission and spent 1944 and 45 in California in a training program until the end of the war. It was called the V-12 program, where they sent people that they felt were going to be really sharp people and become officers. Mr. Winters was one of the brave few who held the line in the dark early days of the war, absorbing the full fury of a determined enemy until the Allies could retake the initiative and defeat the Imperial Japan. He truly was a member of the greatest generation. God bless him. We stand and render the proper salute.
Mark time. Match. Breathe it. Up. Order! Up! Forward! March!
Thank you all. If that doesn't get you, I don't know what does. Many, many thanks to Steve Bouchard for your eloquent reading and your bugle playing. Thank you very much, Steve. Stanley Williams and Mike McSween, thank you guys for the presenting of the colors tonight. Rodney Sitchell, thank you for the idea. Last time we did this was for Mario Gelati some 13 years ago. It's poignant, to say the least. Please join me in welcoming Mark Winters to the podium to accept the award for his dad, Ed Winters.
Thank you all. A couple quick things. I want to say thank you. My family and I want to say thank you to John Bly, the ECA directors and members for recognizing our dad contributions to the construction industry and to the community. This year's timing is perfect, joining the ranks with superstars like my close friend Robert E. Lee, Dick Gelati, and Raul Valdivia, coupled with the dad's 100th birthday being 6 days ago. Thank you. Lastly, I'd like to say how proud I know my dad would be of the ownership and the leadership that Mike Smith Jr. has brought to Argonaut Constructors today and well into the 21st century. Thank you very, very much. Also, for all of you for considering my dad for this award. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
A special treat tonight was going to be Mike Smith Jr. He was going to regale us with comments on all of the award winners, but he called me Thursday, very disappointed. He came down with the vid, and I think he's got a bad case of it. So, Mike, I hope you get better soon. And I'll just say what he was going to say far more eloquently and funny than I'm going to say it, but he was going to thank and congratulate Janine Clary, Volunteer of the Year. Raul Valdivia, Affiliate of the Year. Dick Gelati and Gelati Construction Company, Contractor of the Year. Rob Lee and Team Gelati for the Hermsmeyer Hall of Fame Award inductee, and Ed Witters and Argonaut for honoring his father as well. This concludes our program, you guys. I hope you'll stick around if it's not raining out there for our ECA tradition of cigars and port. I also want to say, Don, this is going to be on our ECA YouTube channel for people to access in the future, right? So if you wanted to relive this, hand it off to your other employees or your family members that couldn't be here, it will be on our YouTube channel. I want to thank you all for coming this evening. One of the lessons I take from tonight, from honoring these outstanding individuals, fits with our young people. We want our young people to learn. We want them to know what these award winners went through, that they'll occasionally stumble. But if they keep producing and they keep taking good care of their family and their co-workers with respect and hard work, they'll get rewarded someday as well. These youngsters are our future. Bring them up, gang. Bring them up. We need them. See you next year, God willing. Thank you guys for coming.